Rob and I had, we both forgot to pack our lunch today. So
whether it's a good choice or not, I don't know.
We
It's a
had
good choice on yours.
Subway,
done on mine.
and it was fantastic. So
Does that say you win on your cup?
where?
Did you
Where,
win?
where?
Yeah, it says you win lunch.
You win at lunch.
You win at lunch.
Your cup is your trophy.
Oh, I see. So by choosing Subway, you won.
I won.
And you won that cup.
You feel like a
Good
winner?
job.
Not yet.
All right, welcome to another episode of Company on the Rise, your place for entrepreneurship in real time. Today we've got Chris, Rob, and Evan, as well as me, Christopher Keeney, and we're going to be talking about building the company culture. This company has a lot of culture to talk about and has a very unique culture to discuss that they're building here, and I want to hear all about it.
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, our sound guy, Evan, has a lot to do today because we have 3D printers.
Yeah.
3D printers running in the background.
Sorry if it sounds like crap, y'all.
He earns his money today for sure. But yeah, so company culture is very, very important for us. And I think when you start, I think most of it comes from the founder. And I think it's kind of innate in the personality of the founder for the most part. And then as you grow, you care more about crafting the culture to what you want it to be and what you need it to be.
Right.
And we'll continue to do that. We focus on it a lot. Recently I met with a consultant, a business coach, I should say, and we spent 4 hours on culture and you know what it is today and what we want it to be and all of that. So it does matter. I do spend time focusing on it and it really ultimately defines the company, both in how we operate and how we interact with the customers. I think ultimately comes out in what this culture ends up looking like.
So, it's really interesting, too. Before I even took the position with Haven, I knew right away what this company culture was. And I went through an extensive interview process through a company hiring firm, multiple interviews with them, multiple interviews with Chris. But what stuck out to me the most was a question. It was almost an essay-style question, required an essay-style answer. I remember really getting into the answer. I don't remember exactly what the question was.
It was around culture.
But all related to the core values and how personally you could relate to our company values. And that really struck a chord with me early on. And it was true. It's carried throughout this process. And I think, as you guys know too, if you all come on board and Christopher, and I mean, it's that way with everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I remember walking in and thinking, okay, what is this place about? And then right into the interview process. I mean, you guys are upfront on who you are and what you want out of a person, out of an employee, out of just somebody that you want around. And that was nice and refreshing because one of the things that I've noticed around here, it's honesty is what gets you the furthest around here, where in other companies, that's not necessarily the case.
Sometimes it's the opposite.
Yeah, it's like the more honest you are, the more, you're not going to last too long.
Yeah.
I think it extends beyond honesty. I think part of the culture revolves around this idea that people have different views of the world, and sometimes listening to all those views, while they may be really different than mine, sometimes I'm able to take pieces of what they're saying and pieces of those views and incorporate it into either the products that we make or the service that we provide. And I think it helps the company in general make better products and have better services at the end of the day, because I think we end up with a much wider view. I mean, we've talked before on this show about the variety of people that we have from way different backgrounds in this company. And I think all of those views are important and each have value.
Well, and I think this carries over too with our customers. Our best relationships are with our customers that have the same or similar values. those are the strongest relationships, and we had the strongest partnerships with them. And I think they are the most successful selling our products with that same style of values. So it's really interesting that all that can kind of come around and work together on multiple channels of how we do business.
Yeah, I think in those pushbacks that you get, either internal or external, they shape the business. I remember Rob and I were at a training session down in Orlando last year, and a company or a customer started asking about our business model and why we do things this way. And honestly, I didn't have a great answer off the top of my head. And I think Rob will tell you, we went to dinner that night, and it really bothered me that I didn't have a good answer. And by the end of the night, I felt like I shaped the answer that fit the right answer for what we do and why we do it. And I was able to verbalize it much better by the end of the night. And then since then, and every training since then, we talk, I made it a point to bring it up. So it was one that caught me off guard at first. And now I make it a point to bring it up because our answer is really good, and it's valuable, and it's true. And it really everybody in the room's thinking it anyway. So we bring it up and address it right up front and say, here's what we believe.
Right. Well, and it saves time, I think, because then you don't have to sit around and guess what your customers want, what your employees want. You can just talk to them and get their opinions and go forward with it quickly.
Well, I think you said honesty, and I think that's part of it. But I think a word that makes more sense globally with our culture and with our business model and all that stuff is authenticity.
Sure.
Right.
That's
a good one.
That's a really good one.
Yep.
And because basically, and you brought up like everyone's from a different walk of life, everybody's from different backgrounds, and that's what makes it awesome is that we're all authentically ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
And we all bring
that's
something different to the table, and it makes for a more rounded, situation.
Yep. Yeah.
But I think what has to come with authenticity is respect.
Yes.
Because if you don't have the respect side of that,
Absolutely.
you get in fights.
No,
I mean, Evan and I.
Wait a minute. We had the rule of respect, and y'all gave me so much stuff for that. Now we gotta have respect. Oh, come on! No, I'm kidding.
No, I think. I mean, Evan will tell you. He and I probably have way different views on some things in life, but we can talk about them, and I can appreciate his view, and he can appreciate my view, and we understand each other, and we respect each other, and
we get it.
And honestly, it's interesting. I love hearing his views and how different they are than mine, and
I think that goes back to what
it helps
Becky
me learn.
Said. What Becky said in one episode, where you have to kind of get out of your comfort zone if you really want to learn. And, and to do that, I mean, sometimes you talk with people who might not be that comfortable with you, or you might not be that comfortable with them. But as long as you talk, you get something out of it. It's not just, okay, we're uncomfortable and split and nothing.
Yeah, I think if you listen to people that talk about confrontations or arguing or things like that, I think the key there is before you speak, try to listen to what the other person's saying, and then try to repeat what they're saying and get them to say, yeah, that's right.
Right.
And then as soon as they say that, they know that you've heard them and respect their view. Yeah. Now, you may not agree with them,
right,
but you were able to reiterate what they said and understand the way they think.
Right.
And that, if you can do that, then I think every conversation goes pretty well.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure my mom said, or maybe my grandma, somebody as a child, when I was a child, said, you got 2 ears and 1 mouth. And there's a reason for that.
Right.
You need to listen more and talk less.
That's good. I like that.
Or at least listen before you talk.
I like that.
Yeah.
So have you ever ran into a situation where it hasn't really worked out, or that culture just wasn't there?
Yeah, well, definitely. I mean, we went through some periods in the company growing that we hired probably people that didn't fit all that well with us. I don't know that they didn't actually fit in all that well with us. I think, and Evan, you could probably speak more to this than anybody, but I think part, at least from my view, I'd like to hear your opinion, but from my view, I think they had trouble fitting in with each other more than they did with everybody else, which is a weird thing to say, but I think looking back at it, I think that's true. I think this power struggle that they had with each other, or this confrontation that they had with each other, was a bigger issue than. I mean, individually, I love all those people that are no longer here, that didn't quite fit in, and they didn't fit in not necessarily with the company individually. They ended up not fitting in kind of with each other, and it created this conflict along the way that we had to weed out. And there was a 8 month period that wasn't a great deal of fun because of all that conflict.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely speak to some of those people and agree with that. Yeah.
Well, and luckily too, we've had some that we almost they almost came on board with us, that we saw early that probably is not going to be a good fit.
Super early. We caught it just in time.
Yeah, I think so. Rob's talking about day 3, which is a milestone around here, I believe. So there's a joke around here that if you make it to day 3, you're not the shortest employee, because we hired a couple salespeople not too long after you started.
It's about a year,
and from different parts of the country, and they came in, and one of them we were doing a couple days of training. They were going to be here all week, I believe, for training, and then we ended up going. You could tell pretty quickly that the fit wasn't real good. I probably really screwed up on the interview process, honestly, if I look back on it. But it is what it was, and
you live and learn.
And so we ended up on day 3 or day 2. Day 2, we ended up going out to dinner with everybody, and we went to axe throwing and had a good time. Except one person didn't. One of the salespeople didn't integrate with the rest of us at all.
They were just sitting there.
No interaction at all. They acted
not
like
trying to,
it was.
I kept trying to start conversations, and they were just not having it.
Not having it.
Yeah.
And so Rob and I drove the 2 other salespeople back to the hotel. We were all in the same car together, and the entire time they spoke on the phone to somebody else, so that again there was no interaction between the other 3 of us, which were all talking.
I wouldn't even do that to a stranger,
right? Not alone a salesperson, right? Like you're supposed to be a relationship.
Like if I were in an Uber ride, I would not be on my phone.
Exactly.
and then we got to the hotel, and we said, we were saying goodbye, and this person didn't say a word. They got out of the car and slammed the door as hard as you could possibly slam it.
in your boss's pickup truck.
And Rob and I looked at each other. I don't even think we said
Your
anything.
boss's pickup truck, you slammed the door shut.
I mean, hard. And I don't even think we said anything. And I think we were stunned. And
did one of you like throw an axe at her or you
No.
with this person or?
I don't know what happened.
They just seemed to like just not want to be there.
So
Right.
nothing like bad happened. Nothing
No.
stuck out
No,
or
no.
anything. And then all of a sudden it's just bam, bad mood.
I mean, it might be one of those situations where maybe they had a lot of things going on in their personal life that were kind of bleeding into their professional life. But I don't know.
Very well could have been.
I don't know. I knew them for 48 hours. So
Right.
But even in that case, there was no effort.
Right.
No effort.
yeah.
And so,
I mean, we all have bad days.
and so on the way to, so Rob ended up staying at my house that night. And on the way back to my house, we had a discussion and basically said, "What was that?" And I literally called the attorney at 10:30 that night and said, "Here's the situation. I need to let this person go." And so, so the next morning I bought a plane ticket and sent her home before the day started. So,
Plane ticket. So she was from, or
yeah,
this
she was
person
from
far away.
Yeah.
And
So the two salespeople that came in were.
why wouldn't you
were
want
from out
to
of
try
town.
and make that work or
Right.
at least try to
like
integrate?
you're doing all this traveling, like
Yeah.
I
That
you would
seem
think
like
you
a
would
big-
be on your best behavior.
But you
like-
know, I think the point, part of the point of the story is that other people see it too.
Right.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think one of the things that a lot of managers talk about is that you're probably the last person to come to the decision. The rest of the company has come to the decision way before you did, because you're the person that has to make the hard decision, and actually has to do it, which everybody else doesn't have to. But you know, so then we came back the next, that day, later that morning, and told the other person that what happened, and her reaction was like, "Yeah, I can't believe it took 2 days. like she said, I was talking to her, I think she said her mom or something, that the night of the first day, and said, what am I missing here? What's
Well, and that
going
person
on?
was starting to question, is this the right fit for me now?
Right.
You know, so it was already spilling over into,
In one day.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so it just
Kind of threw a wrench in the works for
Yeah.
sure.
it just proves that, you know, and I think ultimately, had we kept that person, we would have probably had an exodus in the company pretty quickly. So I think, you know, two things with cultures. I think if you keep the right people and that fit in your culture, and I'm a big fan of, just because you're not right for our culture doesn't mean you're not right for somebody else's culture. I'm a huge believer in that.
Totally.
But I think it can do two things. I think when you get people that fit and help shape it and are great employees, I think they attract other good employees that also fit. And then, but likewise, I think when you have people that don't fit and if you don't exit them, they will exit other people because they know they don't fit and they get uncomfortable because it doesn't fit their culture. And so you end up losing the wrong people. And so while it was day 3, I think it was definitely the right decision.
Well, you know, too, and we preach about user experiences all the time, right? With our consumers, our end users of our product.
Right.
Well, that all carries over into that too. You know, not only do we have the core values of our company, we actively look for similar values in our installers. Therefore, that kind of spills over, and it's a better experience for the end user, for the
and
consumer.
it's more cohesive and keeps everybody together on the same page.
It's like, I mean, I can't think of a better example than this off the top of my head, but it's like Walmart, right? You go in, there's a guy greeting you. They're like, hey, welcome to Walmart.
Yeah.
I don't know if they still do that. That is something that, you know, it was a big deal when they started doing that. Like in the 90s, it was just like, oh, well, I go to Walmart because I feel like family when I walk in.
Right.
You know, I walk in and there's somebody going, hey, how's it going? Welcome to Walmart.
Right.
Yeah,
It's kinda like that, but
and it
culture's
does
a big
spread.
deal.
I mean, you and I had the conversation a few days ago about an exterminator company.
Right.
And I said, you need to call these people. I said, I use these people.
Yeah.
And they are the nicest people on the face of the earth. And they will always just treat you the best. And they will call you before they come out. And they will call you sir and ma'am. And I mean, you can tell that somebody has spent a lot of time in that company saying, this is how we do things. This is how we respect people. We are going into other people's homes. This is how we do it.
Yep.
And this is how we come across professional.
Right.
And as a company, if you don't do it this way, you're not going to last very long. I'm making that up, but I bet 100% those conversations have happened in that company. Because it doesn't matter who I talk to at that company, it's always the same experience, and it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, and especially these days, you can throw a rock and hit somebody who could possibly help you take care of your problem, but that doesn't mean that they're going to actually take care of you. They might take care of your problem, and then all of a sudden you have a problem because they didn't really take care of it the first time, versus the company that you're talking about, that they will put in that time and effort up front because they know how rewarding that is on the inside or on the outside.
Yeah. I had a bunch of electrical work done in my house recently, and we ended up going with like a company that's way more expensive than we could have gotten it done for.
Yeah.
But the customer service was insanely good.
Yeah, we're going through the same thing. We're trying to do an HVAC install.
Yeah.
And all we got to do is find out, financing from this company. 4 days worth of phone tag. Yeah, we'll send it to you. Yeah, we're going to do this. Okay, you didn't do this. Okay, well, we'll do this. 4 days of that. And it's like, okay, well, this shows me how you're going to be and what type of detail you're going to put into this job going forward.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Well, thank you.
I haven't even paid you yet. What happens after? What happens after you have my money and now something's wrong?
Exactly.
Right.
But we just had another, just one of our outlets, something was wrong with it. So, and they sent somebody else out, and it was a different guy, totally exact same experience as far as like respect and just, just being a good person.
Yeah.
And it was great. So, it was worth the extra money to me just to get that experience. And,
Right.
I mean, I could have, Joe Schmo down the street who has like, a pickup truck and a couple of, wire snippers come up and do it for really cheap. But he's gonna leave the place dirty. He's gonna bitch about this or that. I don't want to deal with that.
Right. Exactly.
It's all about culture at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it really matters. And I think, like I said, I think it helps keep the right people, and it exits probably the wrong people. And I think when you keep the people that don't fit in your culture, you end up exiting the wrong people. There's one person that we had that I wish we still had, and I think they left because they were here at a time when all of that drama and everything was here, and they ended up leaving. And I wish to this day we still had them.
Yeah,
And,
I think I know who you're talking about. I won't mention.
Yeah, and
Well, that's what they say. One bad apple ruins the bunch. So, and that can be just as true in the company culture as well.
I mean, it stressed me out. I was probably a terrible person for 6 months because it stressed me out. And you don't realize it when you're in it necessarily.
Yeah.
And you think like, what am I doing wrong? And it was a weird experience, but definitely one that I value now because I learned a lot.
Yeah. So what are you doing going forward to kind of enhance or build the culture that you want to see?
I think since those experiences and over the last year or two, I think we spend more time in the interview learning about the person than we do what the person can do.
Yeah.
And
I'll say that was true for my interview.
I care about who the person is and what their work ethic is, because I can't teach either of those things.
Right.
And I care about intelligence. So you give me those three things, the rest come. I can teach you everything else.
Right.
But I can't teach you those three things. So intelligence, who you are as a person, and then what was my third one?
I don't know. I was going to say I got 2 out of 3.
Yeah, I was going to say, right?
No, who you
The
are.
whole intelligence thing. Oh, man. I must have fooled him in the interview.
No, it's really intelligence, work ethic, and who you are. And those three things really, really are what if I can learn those three things in an interview and feel comfortable with that, then we're going to be in a good spot.
If they have that foundation, you can definitely build on that.
Yeah, those are the three things I can't teach.
Yeah.
And if you look at our trajectory too, I mean, we've been a recent award, and I mean, it's the success of our company not only is because of our great products, it is 100% too because of the values in our company.
Rick, I want to speak to that for a second because I was able to go with you to the awards show.
Yeah, we haven't talked about this on the podcast.
Right, we haven't talked about it yet, but Haven was one of the fastest 55 growing companies in Cincinnati and also took home first place in their category. And when they announced the first place and you went up there, I just remember you got the award, you paused for the picture, and they're like, would you like to say a few words? And you're like, nope. Walked right off stage. And I was like, yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, nobody there was there to hear what I have to say. Right. So, I mean, that's I think they do that to make me feel good, and I felt good just winning the award. And so before you'll laugh at this. So the first person, I didn't know we were going to have to do that. I thought because there's 5 categories, I thought all 5 people, I had a good inkling we were going to win because we were sitting right next to the main sponsor.
Yeah, right
in the front row. So I was like, okay, this means something.
That's strategic.
But when they announced the first person, he went up, and I didn't know we were going to, I thought they were going to announce all 5. We were going to stand there and take a picture and be done. So I hadn't prepared anything or anything like that. So the first person gets up and he goes on the mic because they asked him to say something, and he's like, I didn't know we had to speak.
Yeah.
And so I should have done this in retrospect, but as soon as he did that, they were these pamphlets, and I folded it up and I stuck it in my pocket. And what I was going to do is walk up on stage when they did that, and I was going to pull out that pamphlet and say, and unfold it and say, I just have a few people to thank.
Like you would prep for it all. Yeah. Awesome.
My second cousin once removed Maria. So
what a true inspiration she was in my life.
She said we couldn't do
The
it.
reason we're here today.
And then just joking.
Yeah.
But everybody there's an inspiration, and I should have said that. So it is definitely an honor to be there. This company, I think we ended up overall, so they had different revenue size categories. Right. I think overall we were second in this city. Yeah. And we only got beat by a COVID testing company.
Okay.
So,
which probably won't be coming back.
Probably won't be coming back. Hopefully,
hopefully not coming back next
they will
year.
not be coming back. But but it's a real honor, and we. I said, I think when we started this first episode, I've never been a part of anything like this fast, and we are very blessed to be in this position, and I feel like we have the responsibility to everybody here and to the customers and to everybody involved that with our business, to our vendors and everybody to I think we have a unique talent in this business and a unique niche. And my job is not to F it up.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
That's what I focus on.
All right. Well, today was a really good talk about culture. I know going forward, you guys are going to do everything to keep your culture and build on your culture. And that's definitely awesome to see and be a part of. And also, anybody listening or watching, if you want to follow along with one of the fastest growing companies in Cincinnati, then please subscribe, check out our YouTube. You'll see some bonus content on YouTube, but subscribe for the podcasting. You'll get notified for each episode. And guys, I really want to thank you for this conversation.
And visit our website, companyontherise.com.
Right. Visit the website. All right.
Thanks
guys.
Everybody. Hey, y'all, this is Chris with Company on the Rise. Click here to subscribe.